the reason why I was the reason why I was saying about Usman's jab is because there's I've realized that there's two things that I would say I really like that will put you over the top. Either you have to have a toolbox, or the tool you have has to be game changing. Like
True. Respects.
like for instance, like Deontay Wilder, he doesn't have any toolbox, but
No.
that punch, that one punch, with all the power that it has, is game changing. Like so, like
It's a game changer. That shit's a game ender. Like,
exact
yeah,
exactly,
like,
and like Usman on the other end, like we haven't seen all of his tools,
yeah.
but what we have seen from that jab is that jab is a monster. Like,
It,
like that jab is capable. The jab is almost capable of knocking you out.
you
Like,
calling that shit a jab? That shit is just a straight right, bro. Like that's what it is. Like, but we could get into it. I don't
no,
want
but
to.
everybody, how you doing out there? Welcome to the Eye Test. I'm your host, Mark Coles, and we are once again here with you with another UFC centric episode. You see my man Tyrone in the building. We got Sean trying to look educated today. So we about to really get into some stuff. I hope Sean actually comes in educated with some stuff today. Hopefully I don't have to put him in his place today, but you'll see. We'll see what it
Man,
is.
boy, we just ignore what you be talking about. But go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, and I could tell because the ignorance that you spew, we could tell you don't listen. Um,
No, no, clearly, you know what I'm saying. That's fine, Mark. You keep doing what you do. You know what I'm saying. Like I said, delusion's a grandeur. You know, you want to convince yourself that you're this person that you're not. That's fine.
okay.
Take the Izzy route, Mark. You do what you do, man. I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it there.
Okay. Anyway, man, like I said, everybody, yo, this is a UFC centric episode. We're going to get into a UFC 258. We're going to get into the upcoming UFC 259, and we're going to talk about upcoming fights for Jon Jones and get into a little bit about Dana White trying to recruit Khabib to come back. So with that being said, we're going to jump right into it with UFC 258 recap, man. So anyway, I'm just going to ask you guys starting off, man. Just general, as I always do, general thoughts of the card overall, man. How did you guys feel about the card overall? So Tyrone, starting with you, sir. How'd you feel about the card, man?
It was all right. It wasn't the greatest card. It got the job done. If you needed something to watch, it got the job done.
Yeah. Um, I feel you. And Sean.
I really enjoyed the main event and the co-main event. That's what
Yeah.
I'll say.
Yeah. Co-main event was surprising. Main event not so much for me. You know what I'm saying? I always go team black. Put it all on Africa black, not Brazilian black. But all right.
Man, what kind of discrimination is that? What
We all come from the
put on
same
black?
place.
Not just regular black. No, not American black. African black. Not that Brazilian shit. Like I don't know. Okay, look. So you just bet on Africans. Okay, you don't bet on black. Go ahead, man.
Nah, man, nah. For
Nah,
in all seriousness, though, nah. Usman was my guy, though. Um, and and I would say that I feel the same. Like it got the job done. Um, for me, some of the, I guess, some of the fights ended in decision that I felt as though there was times where the fighter like should have went for the knockout or had the knockout in hand, and they just kind of let it go to decision anyway. So and that's what was slightly disappointing for some of these fights. But this this card in general didn't have a lot of names. It had a lot of people that were trying to make names for themselves, and that was cool. So
That's what it was. Yep.
so
Tyrone said it got the job done, I guess.
yeah. So so how do you guys want to play this? Do you guys want to start off in order, or do you guys just want to talk about like the fights that stood out to you?
Either way, man. It doesn't matter. I watched them all. Like it wasn't many that stood out. To tell you the truth, it was.
Yeah, I only have two that I want to speak about. There's three that I guess I would talk about if I'm forced to. So, I mean, we could just go to what we like, the main fights that we saw.
Let's do that then. So Tyrone, we're gonna start with you. Let's start with the fight that stood out to you, sir.
The Rodolfo, the Vieira fight
Okay.
stood out. That was the upset of the night. Mainly because I went for the underdog. So, when I do my picks, that was a good win for me.
Okay.
That was a good one. Yeah.
I don't know what made me.
What was the odds on that?
I think Vieira was like a negative 400.
Whew. Yeah.
Yeah. So the other guy was like, I think, a plus 350. So
that means he wasn't supposed to win. Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't supposed to win at all.
Nah.
Yeah.
And what's crazy about it is I picked that fight on mistake because I was thinking of the other guy. But once it was set in stone, it was set in stone. So I was like, we're gonna have to ride with it. So we did, and it went well. I mean, it went well. Dude gassed himself out in the first round, came in the second round, started taking those shots, and he had a lot of muscle on him, so that started draining him. And the next thing you know, my guy got the underdog got the tap. So I was happy about that.
Yeah, that's what was really interesting to me was the fact that this guy he was dead on his feet, man. How do you gas yourself out in the first round, man? Like, I mean, gas yourself out to the point where like you can't even move in the second round. Like this dude is just teeing off on you like you a legitimate punching bag. Like it was kind of crazy. So shout out to Anthony Hernandez for having a competent camp. And I guess Rodolfo is going to have to go and start yelling at some people because there was clearly something went wrong in his camp for him to gas out in a single round.
Yeah, and I don't even know why they had it scored the way it was, like the odds, because Vieira, he was 7-0, I think, and then Hernandez was 7-1, so they were kind of even thinking about it.
No, but one was 7-0, the other was
7-2.
He was 7-2, and
right, there you go.
And I think it's because his two losses are in the UFC.
Oh, okay. So coming into the big leagues, he took 2 losses. There you go. That's why they scored it that way.
Yep. So that's why they had it that way, is because Anthony Hernandez, his two losses in a tie, and I guess in a no contest, they were all UFC fights. So.
Okay. Yeah.
So I guess that's why they like, well, on the big stage you can't win. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, that fight as well stood out to me. Sean, any particular fight stood out to you?
I did like let me bring it up. Well, like I said, I like the Usman fight just because it was rumbling and tumbling.
Obviously we're not talking about the main event yet, man. Like,
okay, my bad. I know I'm just mentioning it.
Man.
I'm just mentioning it, I could do that, right?
Yeah. I'll allow it.
Barbara and Grasso, can I talk about that?
That was the co-main event, but
Okay.
sure, why not?
But you know what? You know what? You know what? How about this? I'll say my thoughts for that since we can get to that later. But for this particular fight that you guys are talking about, and then this, my, like you said, the cardio issue, we're just kind of glossing over it, man. There's, like you said, there's absolutely no reason why one round you should be done. You mentioned, Tyrone, that there was a lot of muscle mass involved, and this is one of the reasons why people don't try to put on that much muscle mass for a fight. There's a reason why, if you look at boxers, they never try to get that big. If you're a fighter in general, because to carry around that weight, it's going to take away from your conditioning. At this point, even when in across other sports like basketball players are, trying to slender down because the game is more fast paced, up and down, more cardio. So, but what I saw today, I don't care how much muscle mass this dude has. There's something else was going on. Tyrone, what do you think was going on outside of just him being big and him tiring himself in the first round? Because the way he looked in the second round was like you could have just blown on him and he would have fell over. That's what it looked like to me. So do you have any insight of what may have happened there? Because you're a fighter, you know what I'm saying? So
Well, it looked like he came out and tried to finish it in the first round, like he made a bet on himself or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna finish in the first round, be a submission. But when it comes to that it is being big. He's a jiu-jitsu fighter, and in the jiu-jitsu community, a lot of these guys, back in the olden days, I'm not gonna say now, somebody can chop my head off, but back in the days when I first started, 10, 15 years ago, steroids was a big thing. So it was about getting as much muscle as possible. Like, you want the technique, but you also want to have that muscle there so you can overpower your opponent as well. Some of these Brazilian guys, they still believe in being the bigger guy with muscle and strength to bully the opponent. Therefore, you don't have to rely on technique as much. But like we said, when you put on that much muscle, you're going to burn through your calories if you're going to get somebody who's equally as strong as you. I remember when I would do jiu-jitsu, when you go through your first match, your forearms are shot, your shoulders are shot, everything is shot because everything's working. You get an adrenaline dump, you go in there and you super gassed. Now you train, you had a camp and you train and you can run 5 miles, but it's something about getting in there if your nerves aren't right, if you're not properly nutrition, maybe his cut went bad, maybe he didn't, hydrate the way he should have after the cut. A lot of things could happen in there. Maybe he thought this guy was a pushover because he was ranked so far down. He wasn't supposed to win. He went in there and just tried to bully his way through instead of pacing himself. But the first round was a pretty fast round. And as you start taking shots, that starts taking away from your energy too. A lot of people don't realize that when you take a punch, that saps just as much energy as exerting, your body to do something. So you start taking those shots mixed with body exertion, you're done. And I could tell he was done. He wanted to give up. He just didn't want to tap. He had that Brazilian pride, but he wanted to give up. You could see. But
yeah,
that's what I think.
yeah. Okay, yeah. So I understand what you're saying with the size thing. You're saying just your body has a certain amount of resources, and
Right.
the bigger your body is, you know what I'm saying, the less resources there are to go.
Yeah, muscles burn calories, like, for sure. They do it. And if you don't have enough calories in the body to do it, done. Lactic acid builds up, done.
Yeah, so if you're big and then you're cutting, obviously, because that's what you do, you cut before the fight to make your weight.
Right.
So if now you're big, you got all this mass, and then you cut, you're draining yourself of your energy and your stamina leading up to the fight. I mean,
Right.
you could try to do whatever you want, what you want to do after the weigh-in, but it's never enough time to really bounce back from anything dramatic. So,
And I know I normally don't have anything nice to say about DC, but me and DC at the same time said it was the muscle. If you watch the match, he was like, he got a lot of muscle and that takes calories. Same time I said it, I was like, that it's obvious to see then. If you got the announcer saying it, it's obvious to see that was a problem.
okay,
Right.
yeah, I just had to ask you because I've seen guys get winded before from being too big. It's one of the reasons why they talk about catch weights and stuff like that in boxing. I just don't. I've never seen a UFC fighter tire themselves out in one round before. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
ever seen that before, but this is the first one.
Yeah. It happens. One of the biggest fights was Shane Carwin versus Brock Lesnar. Shane Carwin was a big dude, just as big as Brock, and he got the knockdown.
I do remember that.
Too crazy, boom, done. He was done after that.
Yeah. If Brock leans up on you, you're probably gonna be winded. So I mean, I don't know. Like Brock hits you a couple times, you probably be a little winded. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
all right, but yeah, for me, a fight that stood out outside of the main event fights was Kelvin Gastelum versus Ian Heinisch.
That was a good fight.
That was a really good fight. Kelvin Gastelum, he came back from his 3-fight skid, and he came back with not only with a win from a unanimous decision, but a convincing win from a unanimous decision. And this was a fight where I said it looked like this is where like I was even though I was impressed, I was a little disappointed because in this fight I watched Ian be done and ready to, like you gotta pounce on it and attack, and I watched Gaston like play it safe and keep fighting instead of jumping on the attack and going for the knockout. And so it was a little bit disappointing in that regard, but in Gastelum's defenses on the ground and his takedowns, like he was very impressive. I'm not sure why. I guess Ian really gassed himself going for the Chimera twice from the bottom. Like he didn't have the leverage in that position, and he tried to exert like his muscles into the leverage, and he gassed himself a bit, which allowed Kelvin to fucking take advantage of and just start beating on him.
Yeah. And what round was that? Was that the second round or
that was the
round?
first?
That was the first round.
That was the first round where
Damn, okay.
basically Kelvin had mount position, but Ian had the Chimera, but from the bottom.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about. Yeah,
but from the bottom, you're not going to get leverage to put anything into it.
yeah.
And,
The announcers even said, "Yo, he's wasting his time." You know what I'm saying? They, you know, it was pointed out that he was wasting his time and his energy.
yeah.
So, yeah.
And that's pretty much how it played out. And from there, like Kelvin started taking them apart with his striking, and in his takedowns he had very good defenses, like I said, and good control. I just didn't like that in the areas where, particularly in the third round, where he had him hurt, he had Ian hurt to where he could just go for the attack and go for the knockout. He chose not to and played it safe for the unanimous decision. I don't like that.
If you got a chance to finish him, right?
Exactly. So, but at the same time, like, who am I to say that was the wrong decision? Because Ian did find a way to recover and started striking back. So if he had pounced on him and Ian caught him with one, it would have been a bad day. So who knows? So I can't necessarily say it was the wrong decision. I could just say that I didn't like it personally.
Yeah. Ian had enough strength, but by that time he was already, he was already gassed. From what I could see, he was a little bit tired, a little bit beat up. So I feel you. Like it's one thing if it's earlier in the fight, you don't know, this guy probably could knock me out. I mean, he had full control of the fight at that time. I felt like he could have knocked him out too. He did play it safe. He didn't want to go for the finish. I personally think that this is the UFC, man. How many times have you seen this happen, man? How many times have you seen somebody have control of the entire fight, and then in a moment's notice, just like that, boom.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't play around. Like, it didn't cost you to fight this time, but shit like that can cost you a fight. So whenever you do have, I'm with you, Mark. If you have the opportunity to finish somebody, you gotta take advantage, man.
Yeah.
But let me, yeah. So saying with watching the fight, I thought Ian had control, pretty good control of the fight. He was pretty. This is my first time watching him. He's very balanced from what I could see. Um, he seemed very calculated, had great defense. He was pretty calm during the fight. Felt like he at not at any point did he feel rattled or concerned. Um, I will say though, like there was a few times earlier where, he got behind him a few times. He got behind or excuse me, my bad. I'm talking about the wrong person. Gastelum is who I'm talking about, who had control of the fight. But Ian was basically there's a few times where he came and attacked and Gastelum got behind him. And you're talking about finishing. I felt like there's times where he basically could have taken his back,
Right.
and he didn't either. I think there's one of the times he got back there, he just kind of punched him in the face and then stepped off. I mean, I felt like he left a lot out there, like you did. But all in all, he had control of the fight, and basically every time, like once the fight went to the ground, that was it for Ian. And I got to give Gastelum credit for just being all around fighter and having a solid game plan coming into this. So,
All right. And Tyrone, any thoughts on this fight?
On that one, yeah, I know Kevin Gastelum's coming off of a 3-fight skid. It was initiated by Izzy, and I don't know if that did something to him, but it looked like the number 9 dude went against the ranked 15 guy.
Yeah.
So I mean, he did what he was supposed to do, being ranked 9, going against somebody who's in top 15, actually number 15. Yeah, he just played it safe. I think he wanted that win. I think everything was at stake. You're on 4 losses in the UFC. Dana White's probably gonna release you. So even though he is one of the the Ultimate Fighter winners, he still has to perform. So I mean, it's just been a gracious fall for this guy, and I was just more or less happy to see him get a win, regardless of how it was. He was Ultimate Fighter winner, going up to being interim, fighting for the belt for the interim championship, to now you're down here. So in a short amount of time, like 2 years. So, but it was nothing really impressive that stuck out in that fight with me. Not much at all. Just happy to see him get the W. Like Sean was saying, he was kind of taking it. You never things change in a moment's notice. Like for the next fight, like Patola and Marquez, it's like that right there. Patola had control of that entire fight until 1 minute 17 seconds in the 3rd round, and it was a wrap.
Yeah,
it was a wrap. So he won all that and he gets submitted. So that was pretty impressive as far as that, jumping on that fight. But that was just to piggyback off what Sean was saying. I think Kevin should have had that killer instinct going in for him. Who knows? That war with Izzy probably took something from him. He's never been KO'd. I think that's the closest he's ever been with being knocked out, and that might have did something to him. That might have did something to him.
Hey man,
taking that damage from Izzy.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? For somebody that's not an Izzy fan, you sure put a feather in his cap just now.
Don't do that, man.
I mean, at the same time, though, let me snatch that back out. At the same time, you're 6'4" and you're kickboxing a wrestler, and you almost lost. So,
both of y'all disgust me. You knew he was gonna walk it back when she said it. You the worst one. And then Tyrone, like, you could have let that shit rock, man. You couldn't even let it rock. He was like, I don't want people thinking I'm giving them credit. Let me walk.
Yeah, I don't want nobody thinking I'm switching jerseys. Man, just so you know, he almost lost to a wrestler in kickboxing. So put it there.
All right.
All right, man. So
I like what you did there, Mark. I like
getting into the main events, man. So we're going to Alexa Grasso and Macy Barber. Macy hasn't fought in a year due to a knee injury she sustained during her last defeat prior to this fight. And Alexa Grasso is on the way up, trying to become the UFC's first female Mexican champion. So And in this fight, man, Alexa Grasso is another female fighter that now has my attention.
Got my attention. Yeah.
I've noticed that I will say this. I have noticed in the last I guess in the last five or so UFCs, more and more female fighters, I'm like, oh, I gotta write your name down. Like I gotta pay attention to you because Alexa Grasso, what I saw from her, from her takedown defenses and her transitioning, like particularly her transitioning, that was some great stuff. But especially given the fact that she is known as a striker and so she's known as a striker and boxer. So watching her with her transitions, I was like, oh, okay, she is picking up new tools in the UFC, like because you see a lot of people that are typically strikers, and that's pretty much all you ever really see from them. But in this person, I see that she's actually taking in the tools that she's learning in her camp. So it was really good to see for me. But I will say this: one person that's not taking in the tools is Macy Barber, because I don't know what she called that stand up game, but that's not anything anybody ever taught you. Like, I promise you that. I promise you that. Nobody ever taught you that, Macy. Nobody told you to stand 8 feet away from somebody and throw
Yo,
feints. Like,
those feints were like, yeah,
like
Yo,
you,
yo, like next day air type feints. Like you'll be here tomorrow.
yo,
Like
man.
wow.
Somebody
And then
said,
wondering why Alexa Grasso wasn't biting none of the feints. Like you all the way across the octagon. Cause like I'm not afraid of that.
exactly. Like she throwing feints and Alexa's just like, oh, okay.
Okay,
like,
what
like,
we
somebody
doing?
said she shadow boxed herself into an L.
Yeah,
And that's pretty
yeah.
much what happened, dog. Like shadow boxing is what it was. She wasn't throwing things. She was out there, saying by herself on the other side of the ring. Like
yeah.
uh
Yeah, man. So that was a problem, and like, and when anytime that she tried to take it to the ground, Alexa slid right out of that. Like she had, I mean, we're talking about double leg takedowns that Alexa was like, nope. It came right, took off of that one bounce, came right up out of it. I was like, what you gonna do, dog? Like, you just gonna keep taking these punches to the face, I guess, because she ain't letting you take her down today. So, what were your guys' thoughts on that fight, Sean? You wanted to mention this earlier, so feel
oh
free.
yeah, man. So like you were talking about, definitely she got my attention because I mean striking was A1. Um counter punching, everything. Just the striking was A1. And then you get to the nitty gritty, like you said, takedown defense, ground game, ring control. You name it, she had it, and on top of that, to me, the biggest thing for me is for her to be. I understand that this weight class might be the best weight class for her because of her. You're saying no, but I'll say this: she's moved up in a weight. She moved up and had this type of performance, and I think that's what stood out to me is for her to be able to move up to this weight class and then be able to put on the performance that she did. You move up like that, people expect you either not to have the same power as the people in the weight class above you. They expect you, your strength is your speed. You're supposed to be a little bit slower. And she looked faster and stronger. So I don't know, like she looked faster, she looked stronger. She just looked like the more dominant fighter of the entire fight. And I don't know, man. I was really impressed with what I saw, and from what I saw, maybe she needs a better test. But from what I saw in this fight, she didn't really have any holes in her game. So I would love to see her fight a better fighter to see if to see what kind of see what kind of challenge it's going to pose for her. But like I said, first time watching her fight, and I was impressed. Especially when they said, "Hey, she moved up a weight class for this fight," and I'm like, "Okay, I know what to
Yeah.
expect." I'm looking for certain things from somebody that moved up, and I didn't see any of that there in this fight.
But yeah, see, like this, I would argue that maybe this isn't her weight class, because in the third, when the pressure was on, and Barbara just started, she decided to let caution go to the wind. Barbara was hurting her. Like, I mean, she was able to withstand and keep firing,
Yes,
but Barbara was hurting her. Like, if somebody more aggressive was to be on her, like that would be a problem.
yeah,
Like,
but I believe she has the tools. I believe the toolbox we were talking about. I believe she has the toolbox. You know what I'm saying? So,
well,
yes, but she can't be out there taking those punches. No, not yeah.
yeah,
Like
like
you,
I think that being back down would probably be best for her. But Tyrone,
she need to make her weight if she's going to go back down.
yeah,
Go ahead, Tyrone.
Yeah, so what I thought about this fight is I didn't know why it was just co-main event. Tell you the truth.
yeah,
Yeah, like Barbara and Grasso need to vacate this weight division if that's the way they're gonna be. And the reason I say this is because I'm gonna tell you, this is my weight division. Like out of all the weight divisions, the woman strawweight is the weight division I love the best. And the reason why is because you have Wei Lee, Joanna, Rose, top three. Nothing they showed me yesterday was saying that they were ever going to be a champion in this division at all against those top three juggernauts. Like those are like the boss characters. Like you got to get through the first two minions, and then you got to fight Wei Lee, who is ridiculous. So if she moved up, I don't know what her camp was thinking. I saw she was better on the ground, stopping those takedown defenses and stuff like that. I mean, stopping the takedowns with her defense, but like, you were saying, Mark, when Barber started letting go cautious to win, even with her horrible boxing, she was able to inflict damage. So now you got one of the best boxers in the division, Rose, coming at you, who dips, who slides, who feints at the proper distance, who has range. You know what I mean? What are you going to do? You got Wei Lee, who ain't going to feint, who's going to pretty much juggernaut her way through. She knocked out Andrade like 45 seconds. Or then you got a fast-paced fighter like Joanna who never gets tired, who's on you for all 25 minutes.
Okay. Now,
so those things right there is what they should be looking at. I wouldn't be looking at if I was training a fighter in the women's strawweight division, I would train them to beat those top three, because if you can train them to beat those top three, you're definitely going to wipe out the rest of the division. So that's why I guess that's why I was looking at this fight like, it's the women's strawweight division. It's the most dangerous division in the UFC right now.
Now, see, I understand what you're saying, but I wasn't looking at it like, oh, this is the vision for her so she can dominate. No, that's not what I was saying. I think you might have got it confused. And yes, you were concerned for her, but this is where she's going to have to learn, and basically, this is where she's going to get tested. Yeah. And this is where she's going to have to learn how to fight and complete, and have a complete game and not be off her game. You know what I mean? So
I was bringing those up because Macy Barber says she wants to be the youngest female champion in UFC history, and Alexa Grasso wants to be the first Mexican woman champion. So looking at what their final goals are,
okay, I see what you're saying.
Based off of what that division is. Yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah, you're basing it on their goals. Yeah, you're right. Like their camp shouldn't. Like, yes, I agree with you. Their camp shouldn't have made those decisions, but considering their goals, yes. But for me as a viewer, this is what I would want to see. This is where I would want to see her. I don't care about Barber. This is where I would want to see Grasso. Okay, but go ahead.
I'm going to say this: Grasso, like what she does in her next fight, is very dependent on, which is why she has my attention, because if she chooses to stay at this weight class, like because this was your first fight at this weight class, It's like, okay, that was your test. Now you see what you need. So your next fight, if it's still at this weight class, you saw what you need. If you don't adjust up to that, now that's going to be a problem for me. Like so you see that, like, I don't know if there's a way to train like toughness or like or an ability to take a hit, like, you know what I'm saying, like, because that was her problem, was the fact that when the hit came, it was like I fought people that were like way bigger than me, and like, you know what I'm saying, and when that hit, like, you go to block and that hit comes and it just knocks your arm like into itself, and they hit you anyway, like that. Like what you gonna do, dog? Like, you just gonna eat this hit, like, you know what I mean? So
That's what
like,
did Tyson say? Everybody got a plan till they get punched in the face.
exactly. So
Yo,
Yeah, but it's more devastating when you blocking it and it doesn't matter.
exactly, when you're blocking and it doesn't matter, that is a totally different. That is a mind fuck out this world, dog. Like, you know.
Yeah, that's terror. That's close to having a gun pulled on you.
you can put your hands up and ain't gonna stop nothing.
Yeah.
Like, dog. Now I will say this: the person that did that to me, I fought them again, and I knew this time. I was like, they can't hit me. Like, I was like, I can't block anything. I have to move and like do everything. Like, and so that's what I'm looking for. Like, if you can't get stronger in enough time, like, I need to see you like be the dip queen. Like, I need you to move out of the way of everything.
Like I said, she has potential, man. And I'll be honest with you. There is nothing that you could, either you have a chin or you don't. That's what I've seen in all my years of watching fighting and boxing and all kind. Either you got it or you don't. Either you can take hits or you don't. Even watch people fight, back in the neighborhood. Like,
Mm-hmm.
either you can take hits or you can't. Like, there's no training for that. You spar with people, but it's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, either you can take the hits or you can't. Now, the one thing that you can do is change your mental, as far as, maybe it's not a knockout punch, but it's a hard enough hit to shake you a little bit. Yes, mentally, you could probably train yourself to be mentally tough to withstand that and not let it throw you off of your game. But as far as just not taking the punishment, ain't nothing you could do about that. Like, either you can take punches or you can't. And yes, Mark, yes, Tyrone, what you saw was concerning. What y'all guys saw was concerning. She didn't look like she could take a punch. Not those types of punches. So she's going to have to find a way to use her skill sets to avoid that. And like I said, I feel like she has the potential to be able to do that. So as for right now, I'm a little bit concerned, but I'm not going to worry about it.
Like, all right, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this analogy, and we can move on, because essentially the main reason why Brock Lesnar was successful in the heavyweight division is because he was so much bigger than everybody else. Like, it don't matter what you do, he hits you, it's coming through your block. He grabs you, you can't move. Now, essentially, Alexa Grasso, from what I've seen in this fight, Alexa Grasso is in a division, and everybody in the division is Brock Lesnar.
Hey, man. I in the division is Brock Lesnar. At this point, that's what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah, like, so, like,
I gotta see another fight, Mark. Maybe I just got blind faith. I don't know, man. Maybe that's just me liking what I saw. I got blind faith. Maybe I'm ignoring it. Whatever. But yes, Mark. You know what? I gotta see another fight first. I'm not.
Yeah, like I said, what she does in the next fight is very dependent on what she does in the next fight. But moving on, man. We going into the main event, man, where Usman has defended his belt against dang, why can't I think of his name?
Gilbert Burns.
Yes, Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns versus Kamaru Usman, and it was a successful title defense built off the jab. So with that being said, Tyrone, I'm gonna let you lead this one. Go ahead, sir.
I mean, all I got to say, I'm gonna let you know right now, I wasn't going for Usman. I was going for Burns. Not a big fan of Usman's, but whatever. But that jab was a game changer. I can't deny that jab. That jab was ridiculous. Once he got past the initial first wave of attacks that, everybody, I thought that was going to do him in. He started working a jab. And Gilbert Burns had no head movement and nothing to answer for that. And you could just see it starting to totally break him down mentally, physically, and he just wanted to give up. Like I've watched boxing matches and haven't seen jabs that on point and timed.
Right.
Like, as soon as this man thought about doing anything, he was like, in your face, stiff. And it was quiet at the apex, so you could hear everything. It was like, Jesus Christ, like, how many of these you gonna take to the face, bro? Like, I know you hear them inside your head. They probably 10 times louder than what I hear. And you just eating them.
That shit's reverberating and everything.
Yeah, bro. Come on.
Oh man.
Like, the hook ain't gonna beat the crowd. I mean, the hook ain't gonna beat the jab, bro. You gotta do something else. Like, and you're a jiu-jitsu black belt. Like, let's do something else. Yeah, man, he jabbed that dude. He nailed the hammer in his forehead with his fist, and that was impressive. So I give him. I'm gonna give him about 2 pounds of respect off that.
Actually, give it somebody. Yo, you hear it here first, everybody. Tyrone Small is giving someone he doesn't like respect.
I'm giving his jab respect.
Mark, don't do that. Walking back, nothing else on this show, man. Like, come on, man. Don't do that. Don't make a highlight reel out of it. Like, oh man, I can't believe he did it, y'all. And then he's gonna be like, nah, fuck, man. Nah.
I still don't like him. I don't like his personality. It ain't nothing about him. Like,
what don't you like about his personality? I'm trying to figure this out. Go ahead.
I don't like his personality, man. He just seems like a crybaby, man. He just seems like everybody. He's old, like he's owed something. Like he's just owed everything. He's just.
Do you get credit from him?
I don't
some of the stuff he says. He says some of the weirdest stuff, like, "Hey, if he beats me, he's taking food out of my daughter's mouth, so I gotta stop him." Like, yo, why you?
No, but that's what it's supposed to be. What do you mean?
No, that's weird. Like, don't bring your kids into it, bro. Because
what are you talking about?
If this dude turned around and said, he turned around and said, "F your daughter." Now you want to. Now it's you. But that's what he. But that's what. Here, though.
No, but that's what he has to do. Like what did I say about bringing kids into the gladiator field? What did I say about it? What did I say? We don't do that. We literally talked about this with Connor, and we're talking about a man that is using his daughter as the fuel versus his daughter or his child being the thing that takes away his fuel. He's using that to feed his fire.
No,
and that's a problem.
You know what he's doing? Because when he finally gets defeated, he's gonna feel like he let down his daughter. His daughter ain't gonna give a shit.
Mark, I have a question for you, man. Like, why is this?
At the end of the day, he got 4 title defenses in the welterweight division. He's going to the Hall of Fame.
But he's saying it as if it's going to happen.
Right.
Oh, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen unless he retires.
The first thing he's gonna do is get in front of the mic and be like, "Man, I'm so disappointed. I can't believe I disappointed my daughter tonight." Like, he's not gonna say that, man. Like,
he might. Knowing how cringy he is, he might say that.
Listen,
he might do a whole official apology about how he let his daughter down. Like, and then you watch the embedded today, he's sitting here making it personal. My dad was in jail, and it made my chip bigger. Like, we don't need to know that, bro. Like, I don't need to know your pity points, bro. Like, let's talk about your camp. Let's talk about what you changed. Let's talk about your weight cut. How'd it go? You over here talking about your dad got locked up. Everybody's dad probably got locked up. Like, I ain't saying you're saying
everybody's dad Come on, man. I can't do this with Tyrone, man.
He's just crazy, bro. Like, it's just some of the things he brings up.
If you feel like he's a crybaby, that's just make it.
Tyrone, was Michael Jordan a crybaby?
Thank you, Mark. That's what I was gonna say.
Michael Jordan didn't say what he had to say to after he won.
No, that's not true. That's not true. Michael Jordan has once turned somebody saying "Have a good day" into a bad thing. Like, he was
but
like,
did he get on the microphone and say, "Hey, he was like, yesterday at the game." old dude said, have a good day. And that made me think about my daughter. So I'm going to take him out. Like, he didn't say that. Like, it was after the fact. It was after the fact. Like, you know what drove me? The fact that he did this after the fact that kind of drove me. But, you know, I'm not mad about it no more. He should say these things after the fact, man. Like, he's cringy, bro. He's cringe.
He said it after the fact. Don't play with me. Don't play with me, Tyrone.
And then he's like sitting there like, y'all better put some respect on my effing name. Like, bro, what are you talking about? Like everybody's giving you, Joe Rogan's like, what? Like, what are you saying? Like, we're congratulating you. Like, what are you, y'all better put some respect on my name. Like,
no, that all right, that was a little weird. I will say that
yes.
Tyrone, that part was a little weird because it was like, Doug, like I feel you that the chip, like his motivation and the reasons why he find motivation, that like I disagree with you there. But the chip that he has on his shoulder, it was a little weird when like Joe Rogan is congratulating him. And he's like, nah, fuck that. Like, put respect on my name. Like, I'm saying congratulations. And he's like, no, fuck you, fuck that. Masvidal, I got you next, bro. Now, but at the same time, I like the fact that he's like, he's looking at people like you, Tyrone, and he's basically talking to you. He's talking to you.
He's not acting like a champion. He's acting insecure. He acts insecure. If you got the belt, what do you have to prove anymore?
But
you going around
but
with
Tyrone,
this belt,
clearly,
prove things.
Tyrone, I could pull
it's
up
like me buying a house and saying,
Tyrone,
everybody know this
Tyrone,
is mine. Hey, Cole, look at my deed. This is mine. You better respect it.
But Tyrone, but I would have a right to show you my deed if you've been running around saying you don't got no fucking house, Coles. Like, but like you know, but you are. I could pull up text messages where you said he's not proven to me. Like I can pull up text messages from you that said he's not proven to you. So you're saying
I said he had to fight Masvidal because Masvidal was a 6-day Masvidal.
And
it's a 6-day Masvidal.
But you're not the only.
You over here acting like you beat like
But you're not the only person saying that. So he is addressing you in particular. You're not the only person saying that.
Well,
so he's addressing you and everybody else that's talking that shit.
Now, let me put it this way.
He's a crybaby. He's a crybaby.
No, don't do that. Okay, I'm cutting him off. I'm done with this guy. So let me tell you something, man. So not only do you have fans and UFC diehards like you, like yourself, that are questioning him, and you also have fighters that, I mean, I know fighters are going to talk their shit, but not everybody believes he is who he claims he is. You know what I'm saying? So yes, he wasn't talking to Joe Rogan. Mm-hmm. Yes, he shouldn't have. Maybe that was a weird spot to do it in.
It was a very weird spot to do it in.
But he's talking to the other fighters that are calling him out and saying he's garbage. He's talking to the fans that think he's unproven. So you know what? Out of all the chips that he has put on his shoulder that were placed there on his own, that particular one I'll give to him because people are doubting him. You know what I'm saying?
Because he's weird, bro. Like, you don't act like you're not acting like a champion.
Now you don't like because he's weird.
He's a crybaby. No, he's cringy. He's a crybaby. He's weird, bro. Like, it's like us having a discussion right now, and y'all teaming up on me. Now I'm gonna bring my kids in here and be like, y'all gonna do this in front of my kids? Y'all gonna do this really? Like, come on. Like, y'all making me look bad in front of my kids. I can't be on the show anymore because y'all disagreeing with me. Like, y'all gonna be like, yo, like, Tyrone is weird. Like, I didn't like he did that. We just talking. How come he got to bring it all into this? Like,
oh god.
Okay. He's gonna be like, yo, don't do that no more. I'm gonna get a text like, yo, don't do the kid thing anymore.
I will.
But I'm gonna be like, because you don't agree with my opinion. That's why I did it. I got it right to.
When Tyrone dives off of the edge into that pool of hate, he backs. That's what I'll tell you. He does not go halfway into the hate. Mark said there might be a little sliver of love there, and he said, "Nope, I'll take the feather back out of the cap." You know what I'm saying? Like, you're very dedicated to the hatred, so I give you that. You really, when you dial in on a motherfucker, you really dial in. You know what I'm saying? Now he's a weirdo, and you don't like him because he's a weirdo. So like, you know what? Here's my question.
I just feel like, man, like anytime they put the camera in front of me, he's always like, yeah, I'm gonna come in. Like, he's like, dog, stop playing the tough guy, man. Like, give us somebody we can care about. We need to know who you are. Like,
But he told you about his daughter, and now that's a problem.
Bro, like, yeah, but it's like, you would die. Like,
he told him about his daughter, Mark, and now you don't want to know about him. Do you want to know?
Imagine if Kamaru Usman went around like, you ain't buy the pay-per-view, dog. You taking food out of my daughter's mouth. I don't like it.
But that is the truth.
Like, I had to work that day. But I had to work, bro. What are you talking about? Like, you can't make everything personal. I feel like you can't make everything that personal. And he just walks around with this look on his face. It's ridiculous.
Look, I would rather I didn't like. I'll be the first person to tell you that I didn't like the way that Conor moved and spoke and did things and all the antics and all that shit. I'll be the first one to tell you I absolutely despised it. But you know what's worse than that? Is watching the Conor that exists today. I don't like this Conor. Okay, so I don't care. Like, since then, I'm like, you know what? Whatever you got to do to light that fire, whatever you got to do to get that chip on your shoulder, to give you that edge, then you do it, bro. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and judge you how you get your edge. Clearly, Tyrone, yes. This is a little bit out there. It's a little bit outside the lines. It comes out of nowhere, yes. But this is the way that he lights his fire. This is the way that he gets.
I just want to be like, why you mad, son? Why you mad, son? You got everything.
You sound like you want to fight.
Who in professional sports these days?
But yes,
no, I don't, because next thing you know, he's gonna think I'm coming at this family. I don't need that hate, man. I don't need that. I don't need that type of.
So I'm gonna get us back into this fight talk. All right. So yeah, we're gonna take personalities out of it, okay, for the time being. So in this fight, I know, Mark, you mentioned the jab. For me, the jab is crazy because yes, he was getting rocked by the jab. These jabs were devastating, and it was kind of the sneaky, powerful jabs, and I know you said even in boxing, Tyrone, you don't really usually see them come like that with that precision and with that type of power. And I'll be honest with you, I've seen this before once by a guy by the name of Anderson Silva used to do this to people, and it used to be. Now Usman clearly has more power, but whenever somebody can catch you with that level of precision, and they're coming short. They're coming so short. It's a jab. But if it's going to come with that much power and precision at the same time on these short jab, there's no defense for that. Whatever you're preparing for, you know what I'm saying? You think something else is coming, and then a quick jab comes. You just get hit in the face. It's just, like that's what it looked like. It looked like he never saw it coming every single time it hit him. You know what I'm saying? So that is a dangerous tool. And I agree with what Mark was saying earlier in the beginning. Like, hey, sometimes you don't need to be well-rounded. Sometimes you just need to be decently good in every other arena and just have that one thing, that one extravagant thing. You know what I'm saying? And if he uses, I feel like his corner. Yeah, dog, you got to utilize that jab more often. Like, what are you doing with that in your arsenal tucked in the back pocket? Like, that's what you should be going to, man. Because for somebody that's bigger, I don't consider him to be particularly faster than everybody. But that jab, that jab is apparently, the jab is good enough, man. Like, and that's one thing that is not utilized or underutilized in mixed martial arts, because it's like where you could jab, you could leg kick, and the leg kicks are going to do more damage, and you can chop your opponent down and get them fatigued faster. But if jabs are going to knock you backwards, in a stand-up situation, then that's a problem. That's going to be a bigger problem than leg kicks. People prepare for leg kicks. Nobody's going into a UFC match preparing for a hard jab to the face. You know what I'm saying? So yes, that's kind of a wild card. I feel like he should go to it a little bit more. I didn't realize how devastatingly powerful that jab was until this fight. So yes, he definitely needs to go back. He needs to go back to that well early and often in his fights. You know, he needs to make people need to start game plan. He needs to go to it so often that people start game planning around it.
Yeah, I think it's part of it. It's new. He had to leave the camp he was at. He went to Trevor Whitman. Trevor Whitman is Justin Gaethje, Rose Namajunas. He's their hands coach. So it's no surprise that he got his skills of coming up. I think the next fight it may even be different. His hands may even get better because as long as he stays with Trevor Whitman, his hands are going to be good. So
dangerous. That's kind of a dangerous thing. That boy Usman is cold.
Okay. I'm gonna say my points very quickly so we can move on. In this fight, I agree with Sean. But I will say this: in the first round, Gilbert did a good job of hurting Usman. But Usman clearly showed that he showed good recovery. And Usman was able to knock Gilbert to the ground. And I think Gilbert choosing to stay on his back so long lost him that first. In my opinion, that either lost him the first round or that caused that to be a 10-10 round or a 9-9 round.
I don't know what he was doing.
But like him staying on his back for so long was an issue for me. But that leads me into this. Herb Dean is like, he has grown so much as a referee. We're talking about the referee that used to stop the fight early. He used to force the stand-ups and everything. Like, he watched Gilbert lay on his back and he was like, what you gonna do? Get up. like, you know what I'm saying?
Over yet.
Like, in fights past, Herb would have like, he would have backed him up and made him stand up. You know what I'm saying? But in this fight, he was like, "Go ahead. Like, you gonna find your way up, or you going to get beat on your back. Like, it's one or the other."
Not saving you, dog.
Yeah, like he wasn't looking to save. And Gilbert I saw Gilbert look over to him several times, looking to be saved from being on his back, and so it is what it is. And there was a few times where Gilbert was like, he was on his way out, and Herb didn't stop the fight. Herb kept letting him get beat in the face, and I was like, this is a new Herb. I like this. I much rather this Herb Dean exists than the Herb Dean from 10 years ago. Like, so I just want to acknowledge that.
I used to get mad when they used to compliment him. Oh man, got Herb Dean reffing the championship fight. You know, he's never gonna let it go too far. I
used to toss my hands up when Herb Dean was on. I'd be like, this fight is
blocked. I used to brag about it though, man. I used to brag about it. I'm like, why are you bragging about it? Like, so you bragging because this dude be stopping fights early? Like, I don't know what it was, but
it was very weird.
They were obsessed with shit. But
yeah, but anyway, let's get into UFC 259 while we still have my man Tyrone here, because here we got UFC 259 is coming up very shortly, March 6th, and this is going to be a huge card if you guys don't know. We're talking about 3 title defenses in one card. So I'm looking forward to that. We're talking about the bantamweight title defense, the women's featherweight title defense, and the light heavyweight title defense of Jan Blachowicz versus Israel Adesanya, Tyrone's arch enemy. So, well, actually, no, it's his sub boss, because DC is his arch enemy.
So, DC is retired, so he is no longer relevant.
Well, then Usman must be a henchman. Then I don't know what's going on here.
Yo, but you see how they both Nigerian and they both move kind of weird, man. I'm just saying. No hate to the Nigerians. I'm just saying. It's just a similarity.
Because he always bets on black
And for some reason, Mark likes this type of movie. He likes them. He's all for it. He's a supporter of
I'm a
weird
supporter
behavior.
of my people. Okay, it's still Black History Month. Like,
You don't know if you're Nigerian, man. There's a bunch of countries in there, man. You can be from Congo or something, man. We don't know.
like I said,
He said that's not the people's Mark.
apparently.
Well, he said he segregated Brazilian blacks and African blacks. So I was like, wow. So
No, but
he
here's
did do
the
that.
but here's the look. I'm not giving history lessons right now, but we know that when it comes to South American countries and island countries, that they separate themselves. So, but I'm gonna leave that alone.
I'll allow it.
I'll leave that alone.
Yeah, it's somebody of Caribbean descent. I understand. You are right. We be like, no, we not them. We them. No,
Exactly. So they separate themselves. So I will leave that there. But anyway, man. So I'm going to say this in UFC 259, man. I'm looking forward to watching Amanda take Anderson apart. I mean, Amanda's just unstoppable. So until
take anybody apart and everybody apart.
exactly. So until I see it, I'm not going to believe it that she's stoppable. So she's just good. But I will say this: I didn't realize Megan Anderson was 6 feet tall. That's a giant, dog.
About to watch a tree fall. I'm just saying, like let's be real. Like to me, Mark. After the Cyborg fight, and I know a lot of people had a lot of mixed feelings about Cyborg, but the one thing that you couldn't deny is Cyborg had power that was enough to really dominate fights with. And it felt like Nunes was eating those, the punches that she was getting, she was eating those. And then I never seen anybody stagger a Cyborg like that, the way that she kind of cleaned her up, man. And that was it for me, Mark. After that, I was like, look, man, y'all could throw anybody in front of her. And it's just it was the way that she won that fight that did it for me. I was like, yo, I don't know, man. So yes, Anderson, yep. I guess I'm excited to see Andy Nunes fight. I'm hoping that we can see a better fight, this time than what you usually get from the Nunes fights. But we'll see. I would love to see somebody challenge her one day. So
yeah, I'm even looking forward to the other light heavyweight fight in the division, to Thiago Santos fight. I'm even looking forward to that. So I think this card is going to be really good. I'm going to save my thoughts for Yan versus Izzy because I want to hear Tyrone speak. So,
are you sure?
Yes, Tyrone, please, sir, take it away, man. What do you like and dislike about this card?
I'm sorry. What?
I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. Like you said, I don't know if Jan has the tools to match Izzy, although Izzy is giving up a lot of the advantages he had at middleweight, his height, his power, his distance. Now he's going against people who are built exactly like him. These guys are like, 6'4" and up, they weigh in at 205, but they walk around normal at 225, 230. Their range is like 71 inches. The power is like a heavyweight now.
Well,
So he is giving up a lot. I mean, but if he can keep that movement and his distance, I don't want to see leg kicks. I've seen that for the last 2 fights, and I don't want to see that because I'm gonna be upset about it. If you're doing all the talking,
it's the dub though.
No, I don't want to see him win by leg kicks. I don't want to see leg kick and run. I don't want to see that. Like, you did this, bro. You stepped up to this. Show us you can fight. Don't leg kick and run because the guy's bigger.
Well, hold up. I'm going to say this.
Oh my God,
Tyrone, I'm gonna say this. First, I'm gonna read off these metrics to you, and then I'm gonna address your point. Izzy is six. He's listed at 6'4". Yan is listed at 6'2". Yan is listed as coming in at 205, and Izzy at 185. The key thing.
He is going to weigh in at 185.
I was going to say the key thing at this weight is that Izzy said he has said that he is not doing anything special to try to go up at weight. He said whatever weight he comes in at, that's the weight he's coming at. He said he's not changing his weight to so that he'll be heavier. That's something he specifically said. So he's going to be. So I'm looking at him coming in at somewhere around 190, 195. Like, so I'm looking at him coming more so in at his natural weight than like than trying to force going up heavier. So and he also had, so he doesn't have the weight advantage, but he does have the reach advantage he still has the reach advantage by 2 inches. Yan has a 78-inch reach, while Izzy has an 80-inch reach, and Izzy still has the height and reach advantage in this fight.
Yeah, I can feel that, but I mean, normally when he's fighting the middleweight, you're not fighting anybody with a 78-inch reach. Even though you do have the advantage, you used to having it by more inches than in 2. So right. distance judgment can be a problem. Where you used to be in safe range, you are no longer in safe range with kicks or punches. And Jan has power, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens when that power connects.
Yes. Now I will say
that's the biggest thing for me.
Like I was saying, now to address your issue about the leg kicks, like, listen, we have seen I'm not going to discount anybody's strategy, dog. If that's the way you get it done, beat it. Like, you have to go out there and beat it. But I will say this. You're not the champion here, Izzy. Playing on the defense or leg kicking and running doesn't work for the challenger. That has never won a challenger the fight ever. Like, you have to, challengers have to be on the attack. You have to take the belt from the champion. You are the bigger name, so that may be what ends up winning out. But in most cases, you have to take the belt from the champion. You can't go out there and just win on points against the champion. So I don't look to see Izzy do leg kicks and run either. And if that's the way he wins, I'm going to say that's trash, simply because in history you have to take the belt from the champion. You can't just try to pop shot the champion.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, my thoughts on that is we're talking about the reach. That's the first thing that's the biggest thing I'm gonna be looking for in this fight, or just him being in his weight classes. It's been one of the biggest advantages, besides his speed and movement, as far as his fights go. That's what I've seen on film. Like, I watch his fights, and that's what he utilizes. He leans on that. He ain't gonna be able to lean on the distance, and the shots that he's gonna take are gonna be a little bit different, if he takes them. I expect him to take more shots because of that gap being a little bit closed on the reach, and then the power behind it. So we talked about him getting rattled. I feel like he's maybe not. I don't know about this fight in particular, but being in this weight class, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking to see what he's going to do when he gets rattled, because he will. It's going to happen. He's used to a certain comfort zone, and in that comfort, his little bubble is going to shrink. It's going to be a little bit smaller. He still has his speed, so that's what he's going to rely on. I expect him to rely on that. So I do expect the leg kicks. I expect some dancing. You know what I'm saying? I expect some footwork. But with Izzy, I think it's an interesting point that you made, Mark, that he's going to just show up as is, basically. And I feel like it's kind of what he should do, considering the way his fighting style, considering the way he wants to come into this fight and fight. That's what he should do. But I don't think it's a long-term solution for somebody that plans on being in this weight class. So it'll be interesting to see what he does going forward. But as for right now, first fight, yeah, you don't want to be climbing up to 205. So I do think that it was actually a wise decision just for this particular fight.
It just so happens that this particular fight is for the belt.
That I'm just saying, he wasn't going to play himself and go to 205 and be looking like some people, you know.
I feel you.
You think he's gonna try to hold this belt for a while?
No. I think he's gonna get this belt and he's gonna talk a bunch of shit directed directly at Jones, and he's gonna play some sort of running game from Jones, because he know, like, I find it interesting that he decided to move up now when Jones had already moved out the weight class. Like, Jones moved out the weight class already, and now you're like, okay, I'll move up. Like, and I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive that after Jones takes his heavyweight fight, he's going to move back down to middleweight. So,
Don't do that, Mark. He go, oh no, man. He go chicken out. He just go disappear.
You heard it here first. This is my speculation. Like, and I don't think it's necessarily out of fear. I think it's just he is a child. And he's a child in his mindset, and he's going to do it to tease and nana boo boo John. And he's going to go win the belt, and then when John wins the heavyweight, he's going to leave. That's just how I see it.
I will say this. I think Izzy's plan, well, I personally think that, I mean, we both think there's a lot of deception going on with Izzy, because I believe that he's going to talk but run at the same time.
Yeah, which is what he's done up until this point.
Yes.
He's been talking, and John has pretty much, for the most part, just said, the contract is there. Just sign it, and I'll fight you.
But what I'm saying is, I think Izzy is already drinking his own Kool-Aid now, and I think that he's gonna wait till he gets his sea legs, up in a light heavyweight division, and once he feels comfortable in the light heavyweight division, whether that be after this fight, whether it be after 2 or 3 fights, so you see what I'm saying. He's gonna be running for a while. But once he feels comfortable in light heavyweight, I think he's going to drink. He's going to be at the point to where he's drank enough of his own Kool-Aid that he actually thinks he has a chance. So you say he's just going to tease him and run away. I think he's going to be drinking his own Kool-Aid, and he's actually going to challenge Jon Jones.
Okay. Well, Tyrone, you're biased, but be the tiebreaker here.
How you gonna leave it?
Because it's true. Like, people that listen to us know that it's true.
More credit than that, Tyrone.
Everybody knows what Izzy's doing, man. Like, bias or not, man. Like, it makes even the other fighters don't respect him, because it's like, hey, you've been doing all this stuff, you've been doing all this trolling, bothering people on social media, making these little funny memes and stuff. And then as soon as John leaves and goes to heavyweight, like, oh, I want to run up and get the belt. Kind of like what Coles was saying, childish. It's real childish. Then he'll sit there and say, I'm 2-weight, and I'm a 2-time champion. You never were. All this other stuff. I don't really understand. It's like a inferiority complex. Like, I don't even understand the Jon Jones beef. I understand the DC Jon Jones beef. We all saw that unfold on live TV. But I don't really understand his purpose of going after Jon Jones if you really never intended to take the fight when you called it. You should have waited till you were ready to call the fight. Don't say I can beat you, but give me like 5 years to get ready to do it. Like,
which is
I can't
almost
really
literally what he said. It's
Yeah.
like he's almost literally said those words. He was like, "You're trying to fight me before I'm ready.
Yeah.
You have all this experience." Like basically, and it's like no,
It's
like
fucking hard rock.
we're essentially the same age, and you've been fighting outside the UFC.
He actually has more fights.
Yeah, you've been
Yeah.
fighting outside the UFC longer than I have. Like so, whatever you're talking about is incorrect, but he is but like that's pretty much what he has said, like, oh, you're trying to fight me before you're trying to take me out before I'm ready, which is stuff that people have accused Mayweather of in the past. And it's like, no, you've asked for this fight, so I'm giving it to you. Like,
Mhm.
don't be mad. Don't be mad that you bit off more than you could chew.
Yeah, like and that's my problem with it. But I also like I said, he got to prison. He punched the biggest dude in the yard, but he made sure he did it in the cafeteria because he knew the guards was gonna be there to break it up. You know what I mean? Like that's what he did. He got a sucker punch off, and then he's like, well, everybody's protecting me now. You know what I'm saying? Like for Izzy, that was the weight class. The weight class jump. It's like, hey, look, man. Look, we're not even in the same weight class. Oh, look, man, I'm in a different weight class. You moved up, I moved up. Look, what do you want? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's the guy that's going to talk shit, and he's going to try to get that sucker punch off before everybody starts holding everybody back. Like, that's what it feels like this whole situation is. So,
And I feel like that's his game plan. I mean, out of all the fights he's had, that's what he does. He irritates his opponent, you know, and then they go in there with some type of beef, and then it takes you out of the game plan. And Jon Jones doesn't to fall for it.
he has to know that's not going to work against Jon Jones.
But
has to know that.
well, anyway, I will say this though. We are all, even you, Tyrone, are speaking as if this is a foregone conclusion and that Izzy is going to beat Yan. We do not know that he's going to beat Yan.
Oh no.
So it is what it is. But should he
I don't
beat
know, man. I seen how he did Dominic, and I know Dominic. He went 5 rounds with Jon Jones. Jon Jones wasn't put on the gas pedal, but you could look at the body, the damage of Dominic. Even though he was blocking, like we talked earlier, when somebody bigger than you punch him and it just goes through.
Yeah,
That's what was happening to Dominic. And Dominic was, I think, taller than Yan, had a little more reach than Yan. And then you got this guy coming in at 195.
but that's where the toolbox conversation comes in, because Izzy has a much bigger toolbox than Dominic or Yan has displayed thus far. So,
Yeah. The toolbox is there. You can't deny that. Can you, Tyrone?
Was that?
No.
What you say?
Izzy got the toolbox, man. Izzy got the toolbox. You can't deny that, can you?
Hey, man, you can have it. It depends on if you pull out the right tool.
but he has the toolbox.
He has the tools. The tools are in the box.
I won't say he has the toolbox because I've yet to see this guy do anything on the ground yet. I've yet to see him survive on the ground.
Okay.
It just stands up there. I've yet to see that. I've yet to see him be able to get a bigger guy off of him when he's against the fence.
But
So
unfortunately,
and you know that's what Jon Jones is going to do.
yeah,
He's going
but
to take him
yeah,
to
but
waters.
unfortunately, the two things you just said is two things that we have not seen from Yan. We haven't seen it from Yan, so like we don't know if Yan is even capable of doing those things that we haven't seen Izzy defend. So it's going to. So this fight is going to be interesting.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you. I mean, there's a reason why Izzy hasn't been caught up against the fence, because he just moves too fast. But
he kicks your legs and he runs because you can't walk, you can't move as fast.
But yeah, Mark, you know, this is the best we're going to get out of Tyrone when it comes to Izzy in the toolbox conversation. So I'll take it. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, moving right along, that we are looking forward to UFC 259. But Hey, actually, I don't know if you will possibly have off on that day, Tyrone, or not, but maybe we'll look to do a live for this fight. Do
All
a
right,
live
yeah, I see
comment,
it.
do a live commentary
That
for
would
this
be
fight
that would
because
definitely.
this would be the fight to do it for.
Yes,
Uh,
it would be.
so next, I'm going to say what you were saying about Izzy being able to say that he'll be able to hold over his head that he's the champ, or he was a champ, um, and John is not. Well, it looks like that won't be lasting very long, or at least John will have the chance to become a champ because John, they're saying John's next fight or his first fight in the UFC as a heavyweight will be against the winner of Stipe versus Francis, round 3, I believe. So, is that correct, Tyrone? Is this round 3 for Stipe and Francis?
Nah, this would be the
Round
second. This would be the second time they
second.
fought.
Okay, second time they fought. So, um, so whoever wins is Stipe versus Francis. John, John is gonna fight, and so Dana White seems to have a little bit of a role reversal there because originally he has stated in the past that John will not
Yeah.
that his first fight at heavyweight, he won't get a shot at the title as his first fight, and we've discussed that we think it's BS because DC his got a shot at the title his first fight. In a reversal, Dana White is saying that John's first fight will be a shot at the title, which could possibly happen this summer. Is what they're saying. Um, is I guess it's not really a whole lot to say with that, but do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Well, I think that he's doing it because John asked for the time to prepare, get his weight up, you know what I mean, get his strength up to prepare for that division. So, and then you got Francis over here knocking everybody out that he comes across. So you can't deny that, you know, and you got a mixed bag. You got some of the fans, they don't like Jon Jones. They don't feel that he should get special treatment because of what he's done in the past. And then you got these guys who want to see Francis, you know, get his shot because he's over here putting people to sleep instantly. Um, so I think that's just the best of both worlds right there. You giving
Well,
John the time he needs to do what he needs to do, and then you really not taking a shot away from Ngannou. You're giving him his due diligence and what he deserves at the same time.
well, to be clear, there is no special treatment here for John. It will because the only special treatment that would be for John if John was still holding the light heavyweight title belt. But John has vacated the title belt, so right now under no obligation to take a fight because so he has that free time to go up as much as he wants to when he wants to because he doesn't hold any belt that obligates him to take another fight at this moment. So so anybody that feels as though there's a special treatment going on with his extended layoff, there's not. He just doesn't hold the belt right now.
Yeah, he did it the right way. And that would be my comment for this is the UFC is handling this the right way. I told you I didn't feel like it would be right for him to get a title shot right out the gate. I don't think that would be a smart business move in the first place. Um,
You
and
mean
then
to not get a title shot?
oh yeah, no. Let me be particularly clear. Right away, right away.
Because he is getting a title shot right
No.
away.
Yes, but it's not right away. It's not right away. He said he didn't just move up to heavyweight and then 3, 4, 5, 6 months later get a title shot. It's almost a full year now. We're talking, right?
Oh, you're talking about his like move up move up quickly. Yes, he's
Yeah.
slowly Yeah, like
Yes,
yes. Okay.
yes. I did not think it would be a good move for him to just walk right up and then do that. I did not think that he should see Stipe right away. And then I did think Ngannou would be a better fight for him to have right away. But I personally didn't think that that should happen right away too, because I felt like Ngannou needed a title fight because he deserved it. So that's what I mean. So the natural flow of things is what I like here. I like the fact that Ngannou is getting his title shot. I understand the earlier sentiment about you saying you don't want people are tired of seeing the same fights over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
We get that, but Ngannou has earned this and he deserves this title fight. So I believe that he should have it. So I like the fact that they're getting this out of the way first before going to Jon Jones and saying you're gonna get one of these guys. And I like the fight. I mean, me personally, if I was running things, I would have him fight the loser first. But he's
No,
Jon Jones.
absolutely not. I'm going to agree with you right there. Not when you see Izzy take a title shot right
But
away,
then I
and you
also
saw
wouldn't
DC take a title shot right
I
away.
also wouldn't have done those moves, but that's what I'm saying. Like the precedence is set, so I understand why it's happening. So, yeah, exactly. But I'm saying all of those moves that you just mentioned, I wouldn't have done. So I'm coming from that place. But yes, now that the precedence is already set, then yes, if Jon Jones wants that, then he should be able to get that. But yes, but so either way, the fact that that the Stipe and Ngannou fight is happening first, I love it. I'm all for it. This is the way that it should be done. The Izzy fight is a little weird to me. Whatever, he just jumped straight in. But but yes, I'm glad that they're taking the time with the Jon Jones situation in the heavyweight division.
Okay, excellent. And lastly, to finish things off for our UFC conversation tonight, I just want to bring this up. Dana White is set to have meetings with Khabib Nurmag- mm, Nurmagomedov.
We just
Nurmagomedov.
me.
I'm going to get the name right. Khabib Nurmagomedov. There we go. All right. So he is set to have meetings with Khabib to possibly see if he will come back to the UFC. And I'm going to say this flat out. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. My reasonings for not liking it is because Khabib made a promise to his mother and made a promise essentially to his dead father, who just recently passed, that he will not fight again without his father by his side. And for you to be like, fuck all that, fuck your promises, like, come fight because it'll make us money. Like, get out my face, bro. Like, understand that Khabib is a very respectful person, and like one of the things Dana said was Khabib knows that I'm not coming up there just to shoot the shit and have a cup of tea. Like, so that shows at least that he's open to it. No, it
No, he's
just
just being
no. He's
respectful.
just respectful. And he's going to take the meeting with you so he can tell you no to your face. Like, that's the type of person that he is. But like, I don't like you pestering somebody that made a promise to their dead parent of what they're going to do for them to go against that promise. That is it's disgusting to me. Um
Has it even been a year?
no, it hasn't even
No.
been a year. Hasn't even been a year. Like it hasn't even been 3 months. Like
Yeah.
what the
That's what
fuck?
I'm saying. Like this is really, 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 really soon, dog. Like that's my problem with it. But go ahead.
Yeah, like it hasn't even been 3 months, man. Like, why are you pestering this dude to be like to come back? And like Khabib has said, he said, I see nothing spectacular. He has said out his mouth he saw nothing spectacular from Dustin. He saw nothing spectacular from Connor in their recent fight. He said, I fought them both already. I've seen nothing spectacular from them. But in this fight, he was like, Dustin should have the belt. he is saying out his mouth, this isn't my belt anymore. You have to give it to somebody else. Like, but Dana White refuses to vacate the belt because he wants to try to make money off of Khabib, and that's my, I guess that's my biggest problem here, is because there's like there's no like I there's no honor or like even a look of honor in it. Like you're literally coming in full force with greed, trying to make this dude break his vow to his dead parent.
Yo, like the body's still warm, man.
Yeah,
Body's still warm, dog. If you bust through the door, like, yo, trying to get this guap, you know what I'm saying? Like trying to get this moolah, this bread, like what you mean, dog? I just buried my father. Yeah, man, I hear all that shit, man. We got some fights lined up for you. Like, that's what it feels like. It's like, so it's almost like you as an organization, you, Dana White, you don't have enough respect for Khabib that you would respect his own wishes. Like, give him time to grieve, because if he was that close with his pops that he literally was like, yo, he quit before that fight and end up just fighting anyway. You know what I'm saying? He quit before his last fight. He quit the day his dad died. So like, if he was that close to where he's like I just can't do this, and then even on that fight, he really felt bad going into the fight. Like, if he was that close with his pops, what makes you think that after 3 months, Mark? What makes you think after 3 months that it's time now to go see? Like you said, it's the place where it's coming from, Mark, and that's what I don't like. It's coming from a place of yeah, you quit, but I didn't fire you, so I want you to come back to work.
Right.
And it's not because the betterment of you, or it's because I need money in my pocket.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with Khabib and everything to do with UFC and Dana.
Yeah.
And that's disgusting. But Tyrone, your thoughts?
I agree with you guys. Like, that's ridiculous to even do that. It's just like, I think it's just a misunderstanding of cultures. This man deals with fighters from all over the world. You would think he would understand cultures.
Exactly.
And the culture that Khabib comes from, that those vows are sacred. And to make him go back on that is a big slap in the face to whoever he made those vows to. And, you know, Dana White may be like, yeah, but your dad's dead. He may never know. But in his culture, you know, they don't see it that way.
Right.
You know what I mean? They go to a different place in their culture and their beliefs than where you go, Dana. And that means the world, you know, to them. That's what's important. The afterlife is more important than here, you know. So yeah, but you know, that's Dana White, man. Like, that's what he is. That's what he's always been. He's always been a person to do some unspeakable things, man. And you know, and if it can make money, all his morals go out of the window. I mean, that's why I'm not a fan of the guy.
Yeah, neither
one
am I.
minute he'll be your best friend as long as you're making the money, and then the next minute something happens, and then he's, oh, you know, fuck that guy. I don't know who that guy is. As of right now, he's not in the organization. Next question. Like, whoa. Like, wait a minute, y'all was cool as shit last year. What happened?
Exactly.
You know?
Like,
So
I look at Dana and I'm like, dog, you are like, you serve one God, and that God is the dollar bill, and it shows in anything that I've ever seen from you. Like, Nate Diaz, you allowed Nate Diaz to come up and smack you in the face because because of things that have transpired and how you disrespected him, and you needed Nate to make you more money, so you allowed him to come smack you in the face. Like dog, there's like, you degrade yourself and you degrade your morals for money, and I just want that to be known out there. So
yeah.
So Tyrone, you don't find that weird? Is that weird? Is he a weirdo? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't like Dana White. I've always said that. Even when he was like Cyborg and never fighting UFC, 2 years later, there she is. He made a whole new division for it. Women will never be in MMA. Next thing you know, women leaving your MMA. You got Ronda Rousey doing this, doing that. Like yeah, we just never get into Dana White. Dana White's up there with Usman and Izzy and DC. He's in that group. But
Dog,
this is
let
just
me
my
tell you,
first opportunity to be able to dial in on him.
when this all said and done, man, what I want to do is make one of the Mortal Kombat totems. Going up like everybody in order, dog, from the bottom all the way up to the top, dog. I gotta make one of these for Tyrone, man. Like clearly, there's a hierarchy, and there's just more people on this totem that I didn't know was there already. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Dana White is not. Yeah, no, I don't like that guy. I don't like him at all. Even the fights that he makes, some of the fights that he makes, man, like, this is the fight that people want to see. Like, no, it's not. Nobody wants to see that. I want to see the number 1 ranked guy fight the champion. And then if he loses, I want to see the number 2 ranked guy. I don't want to see this dude who you played golf with the other day. Y'all make some fake beef. You get your marketing team out there, said he slapped his mom or something like that. And now he's selling $1 million fight over something that never really was real, And you got this guy who deserves it. Like, look what he did to Tony Ferguson. Look what he did. He pretty much ruined Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson will never be champion. Never be champion now, because he made him take a fight that he shouldn't have took. He should have waited on Khabib, but he did what to Tony Ferguson, what he's trying to do to Khabib. Like, hey man, yeah, I know, just one more time. I need you to go back in one more time. Tony Ferguson's like, how many times I need to prove myself? I was an interim champ. You stripped me because I got hurt. Yeah, but just one more time, and I promise. And that one more time cost him. So, and now he threw him to the wayside. He can't even get a fight now. It's like, yeah, whatever. He's done. He lost twice. So
yeah.
I don't like Dana.
Yeah, once Dana, I started fucking with Dana once he started messing with the fights and the bouts, how they set up the bouts. Like there came a time. There used to be a time, and I know the younger folks that I'm saying younger folks, but the folks that have taken a liking to the UFC in recent time, y'all never seen this. But there was a time where it literally was just look. That was part
next
of their
man up.
That was part of their advertisement. It's like, we're not boxing. We just gonna give you the best of the best. Like, the best is gonna fight the best, and you gotta earn your keep. Like, that used to be part of their advertising, and then now it's just like, once he changed that part of the UFC, I stopped fucking with Dana White. So like, he's not on. He's definitely not on my good list at all either. There, Tyrone. So I don't really like him. So that, like, this is. But even with my dislike in my previous views on his personality, this is still a new low, I would say.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring it up so that the spotlight shines on Dana, and we'd be like, I don't care. I see you, motherfucker. Like, like, I see you. Like, and we see how disgusting it is.
Yeah, you out here being a slime ball. I like, I've never had to use that term before, but I'm using it today. You being a slime ball, dog.
Yeah. So, with that being said, man, that's going to be the end of our UFC episode. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Tyrone, for joining in. As always, it's always great to have you. We appreciate it, bro. And as always, Small World Artistry. Check them out at that Etsy store. Get great hoodies and T-shirts and any other prints that they supply. And Sean, as always, it's great to have you as a co-host. Link, like, subscribe, y'all. Same stuff every day. If you like it, support us, and if you don't like it, comment and tell us that why you don't like it. Anyway, with that being said, man, signing off. And as usual, man, if y'all fuck with us, we fuck with y'all. And so fuck with us so we can fuck with y'all. All right.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
All right. Peace.
All right.